Maybe you have a job. Maybe it is stable. Maybe your salary arrives every month. Maybe, from the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, something does not feel right. You do not feel fully alive. You do not feel truly satisfied. You do not feel that this is the life you imagined for yourself. Maybe a few years ago, you thought that having a secure job, a regular income, and a predictable routine would be the highest goal you could reach. And at first, maybe it felt that way. But then reality started to become clear. You work all day, 8 hours a day, sometimes more, from morning to evening, 5 days a week, sometimes 6, maybe even on Saturdays. And when you look ahead, when you imagine your future, you see the same thing repeating again and again for the next 20 or 30 years. Different office, different company, maybe a better contract, maybe a better salary, maybe a better title, but still the same feeling. Your time is not really yours. So maybe you started thinking about doing something on your own, starting a business, building your own activity, creating a service, selling something, becoming independent. But then you discovered that starting a business today is not the same as it was 10 or 15 years ago. Years ago, maybe you could open a small online shop, put a few products on the internet, run some simple ads, and find a market that was still growing. There were fewer competitors. The internet was still expanding. Many sectors were not saturated yet. You could sometimes succeed even without very strong skills, simply because the market was less crowded. Today, everything is different. Competition is everywhere. If you offer a service online, you are not competing only with people in your city. You are competing with people from all over the world. Some of them are cheaper than you. Some of them are more experienced than you. Some of them already have a brand, a following, a system, and years of proof behind them. And now, with artificial intelligence, many people believe another illusion. They think, I will use AI. AI will do everything for me. It will find the product, create the service, sell it, promote it, manage the customers, and make the business work. But that is not how it works. AI is powerful, but it is not a magic button. AI can help you, but it cannot replace clarity. It cannot replace strategy. It cannot replace taste. It cannot replace positioning. It cannot replace the ability to understand people. So if you want to have a real chance of becoming independent, if you want to build something of your own, if you do not want to spend the next 30 years giving all your time to someone else's system, then you need a practical method. Not motivation, not fantasy, not empty quotes. You need a structure. So in this video, I want to give you 5 practical steps that can help you start building something of your own. These steps are simple, but they are not superficial, and if you take them seriously, they can help you understand where to start. Step 1. Identify your skills, your value, and your target. The first thing you need to do is write everything down. Not in your head, on paper, in a document, in a notebook. Write down what you can do. What skills have you developed at work? What skills have you developed through hobbies? What problems have you solved in the past? What do people ask you for help with? What do you understand better than most people around you? Maybe you have technical skills. Maybe you know how to manage people. Maybe you know accounting, design, video editing, writing, sales, organization, logistics, customer service, training, fitness, food, travel, real estate, software, music, or something very specific. At the beginning, do not judge yourself too much. Just write everything down. Then ask yourself a more important question. What problem can I solve for someone else with what I know? Because a business is not built only on what you like. A business is built on the connection between what you can do and what someone else is willing to pay for. But be careful. People do not buy only solutions to practical problems. Sometimes they buy a desire. They buy status, they buy identity, they buy relief, they buy beauty, they buy confidence, they buy belonging. They buy the feeling that their life can become closer to the image they have in their mind. So do not ask only, what problem can I solve? Also ask, what desire can I help people achieve? This is extremely important because many small businesses fail because they think only in technical terms. They say, I offer this service. But the customer is thinking, how will this make my life better? How will this make me feel? How will this help me become the person I want to be? Once you understand your skills and the value you can offer, you need to define your target. You cannot sell to everyone. If you are small, trying to speak to everyone is one of the fastest ways to disappear. You need a niche. But the niche must be balanced. If it is too small, there will not be enough people to build a business. If it is too broad, you will compete with much bigger players, with more money, more content, more advertising, and more visibility. Your target is not only age, gender, or location. It can be deeper than that. What kind of work do these people do? What kind of life do they have? What kind of family situation do they live in? What are their fears? What are their ambitions? What do they want to become? What frustrates them? What do they already buy? What do they secretly desire but do not say out loud? A real target is not just a demographic category. It is a group of people who share a need, a problem, a desire, or a worldview. That is your starting point. Step 2, build your brand. This is where many people make a serious mistake. They think a brand is just a logo. It is not. A brand is the way people recognize you, remember you, and feel something when they see you. Your brand includes your name, your visual identity, your message, your tone of voice, your values, your style, your promise, your way of speaking, your way of presenting yourself, your website, your social media, your emails, your videos, your packaging, your office, and even the way someone answers the phone. Everything communicates. Even when you do not want to communicate, you are communicating. If your business has a confusing name, that communicates. If your website looks cheap, that communicates. If your social media has no direction, that communicates. If your customer service is cold or chaotic, that communicates. If your visuals are inconsistent, that communicates. Everything speaks before you speak. So you need to decide what your activity represents. What is your name? What is your message? What is your promise? What is your tone? Are you elegant, direct, provocative, friendly, technical, premium, local, international, minimal, bold? You need to know this, and you need to write it down. This is what I call the soul-searching phase of your business. Who are you? What do you want to express? What values do you want to represent? What emotions do you want people to feel when they see you? What should they remember after they interact with your brand? And this is not something you do once and then forget forever. You should repeat this process at least once a year, because many businesses start with a clear idea, but then slowly lose focus. They add random services, they follow every trend, they copy competitors, they chase short-term money, and after a while, they no longer know what they are. A brand protects you from that. A brand gives you direction. But the brand must be real. If you call yourself International Transport, but you only operate in one small local area, there is a mismatch. If you present yourself as premium, but everything about your service feels improvised, there is a mismatch. If you say you are innovative but your communication looks outdated, there is a mismatch. Your brand must not be fake. It must be an amplified version of the truth. And remember this, people do not see your business the way you see it. Each person looks at the world through their own filters. Your target has its own language, fears, habits, desires, and expectations. So your job is not only to express yourself, your job is to express yourself in a way that your target can understand, feel, and remember. That is why branding matters, because in a crowded world, being good is not enough. People need to recognize you. Step 3, choose your business model. Now you need to decide what kind of activity you want to build. Do you want an online business? Do you want a physical business? Do you want a hybrid business? This decision changes everything. An online business gives you huge possibilities. You can reach people in different cities, different countries, even different continents. You can sell digital services, consulting, courses, products, subscriptions, software, content, design, marketing, video, or many other things. But the online world has one major disadvantage. Your competitors are everywhere. Someone on the other side of the planet can offer a similar service at a lower price. Someone else may have more experience. Someone else may already have thousands of followers. Someone else may already dominate the keywords, the ads, the platforms, and the attention of your audience. That is why, online, your positioning and your brand become even more important. You must give people a reason to choose you, not just because you exist, not just because you are available, but because you are specific, recognizable, and valuable for a certain kind of customer. A physical business is different. If you have a local office, a shop, a studio, a restaurant, a clinic, a gym, or a professional service in a specific city, your competition is more local. This can be an advantage. For example, if you offer business consulting in Detroit, people may search for business consulting in Detroit. They may want to meet you. They may want to know that you are physically there. They may trust you more because you are local. But a physical business also has limits. You may have rent, local costs, staff, equipment, legal requirements, a smaller geographic market, less flexibility, and it may be harder to serve someone who lives far away unless you build a hybrid model. So you need to be honest. What do you want to build? A local service with strong trust, an online brand with global reach, a hybrid model where your local presence gives you credibility, but your online presence brings you visibility? There is no perfect answer, but you must choose consciously. Because if you do not choose your model, the market will choose it for you. Step 4. Design your operating system. This is the step that many beginners ignore. They think only about getting clients, but they do not think about what happens after the clients arrive. At the beginning, you may have 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients. You can manage everything manually. You answer every message. You improvise. You deliver the service in your own way. You solve problems as they come. But what happens when you get 10 clients? What happens when you get 50 orders? What happens when you have 100 requests at the same time? If you do not have a system, you collapse. You start making mistakes. Customers become unhappy. Delivery becomes chaotic. You lose control. And eventually, the business that was supposed to give you freedom becomes another prison. So before you grow, you need to design how your work is organized. How does a customer contact you? What happens after the first message? How do you send a quote? How do you collect information? How do you deliver the service? How do you manage revisions? How do you manage complaints? How do you get paid? How do you follow up? How do you ask for testimonials? How do you work with suppliers? And suppliers are part of the system. If your activity requires external help, you need to know who does what. Who produces the product? Who ships it? Who designs it? Who edits it? Who provides materials? Who handles customer support? Who replaces you if you are unavailable? You need a chain of production for your service, even if you are small, especially if you are small, because when you are small, chaos can destroy you faster. A good system does not make your business cold. A good system protects your quality. Step 5. Build your visibility through inbound marketing. Now we come to promotion. Because even if you have skills, a brand, a business model, and an operating system, you still have one problem. Nobody knows you. At the beginning, you are invisible, so you need channels. Social media, videos, articles, email, SEO, partnerships, paid ads, local events, community, content, referrals, case studies. But here's the important point. Do not rely only on cold outreach. Many people say, make 100 cold calls a day. Send 1,000 cold emails. Contact every business you can find. Of course, sometimes direct outreach can work. But for many small businesses, it consumes enormous energy and produces very low results. You call 100 people, and maybe one listens. You send 1,000 messages, and maybe a few answer. That can become exhausting. Instead, you should build inbound marketing. Inbound marketing means that people come to you because they have seen your content, understood your value, recognized your message, and started to trust you. They watch your videos, they read your posts, they see your examples, they understand how you think, they feel that you are speaking to their situation. Then, when they need help, they contact you. This is much more powerful than trying to convince random strangers who do not know you and did not ask for anything. Inbound marketing is not instant. It takes time. But it creates authority, and authority is one of the strongest assets a small business can have. So your question should be, where does my target spend attention? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, local Facebook groups, events, podcasts, newsletters, search engines? Then you choose the channels that make sense for your activity. Not all channels, the right channels. And you start creating proof that you understand the problem, proof that you can solve it, proof that you have taste, proof that you have a method, proof that you are real. Because in today's market, people do not only buy services, they buy trust. And trust is built before the sale. So let's summarize the 5 steps. First, identify your skills, your value, and your target. Second, build your brand and your identity. Third, choose your business model, online, physical, or hybrid. Fourth, design your operating system. Fifth, build visibility through inbound marketing. These 5 steps will not guarantee success. Nothing can guarantee success. But they will give you a much stronger foundation than simply saying, I want to start a business. Because wanting freedom is not enough. You need to build something that can actually survive the market. You need clarity. You need positioning. You need a system. You need proof. And above all, you need to understand that independence is not created by escaping your job. It is created by building value strong enough that other people are willing to pay for it. If you stayed until this point, more practical videos are coming. In the next videos, we will go deeper into real examples, specific types of businesses, and concrete strategies you can use to start building your own path. So subscribe, stay focused, and remember this: do not wait for someone to choose you. Build something that makes you impossible to ignore. I'm Stefany. If you want more practical strategies to build your own path, create value, and stop waiting for permission, subscribe to the channel. In the next videos, we will go deeper into real examples, specific types of businesses, and concrete strategies you can use to start building something of your own. Do not wait for someone to choose you. Build something that makes you impossible to ignore.